Adams County Court, law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session with cause number, let's see, 325264, cause number 325574, cause number 325576, cause number 326086, cause number 329022, and cause number 332828. All 7 cases are styled, all 6 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Shedrick Bernard Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, is that your full name? Mr. Mitchell, how are you doing? That's good. Mr. Mitchell, you're represented in your cases by your attorney Tom Burbank. Attorney Burbank, how are you doing? State is represented in this case by Attorney Raymond Shearer. Attorney Shearer, how are you doing?
Very good, Your Honor.
Mr. Shearer, what's the announcement?
In cause number 325264, the state has submitted a dismissal based on a felony plea that was taken. Also in cause number 325574 and 325576, the state submitted dismissals based on a different felony plea that was entered. Then on cause number 326086, we're asking that this be reset because Mr. Mitchell also has number 332828. And at this time, Mr. Burbank is not on the second case, but will be assigned, we'll be sending a letter on that. And we suspect that we will be able to deal with both those cause numbers at the same time. That leaves us with 329022, in which the state is dismissing that one also.
Okay. Okay. So the state will be dismissing cause number 325264, cause number 325574, cause number 325576, and cause number 329022.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you're asking for cause number 326086 to be reset, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And then Mr. Burbank is not on the remaining case, cause number 332828, but he will be filing a letter of representation on that
I
case?
need to talk to him. I have no discovery at all, and
Okay. Okay, so the court is signing the dismissals in this case. Now, Mr. Mitchell, these 4 cases will be dismissed. Your attorney, Mr. Burbank, is going to sign your reset in cause number 326086, and then you will be signing the reset in cause number 332828. Okay, so you're gonna stand on the X in front of our court coordinator. You're gonna get your recess. Once you get your recess and the dismissal, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Let me sign these. I'm signing these dismissals. Signing the last dismissal now.
Do you want copies of the dismissal? Do you want copies of the dismissal? You don't want them.
You've got to come in and see me anyway.
Okay.
It's the last one right here.
You see that.
Here's another one. It's the last one. Did they ever make that correction?
Yes, you have it up there.
I did, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session and calls number 333-341. Case of the style of state of Texas versus Jimmy Earl Thomas. Mr. Thomas, would you please come forward? You're gonna stand on the X in front of the bench. For the record, is your name Jimmy Earl Thomas? Mr. Thomas, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Thomas, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Thomas, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Thomas? You doing okay? Mr. Thomas, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Frederick Wilson. Attorney Wilson, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Attorney Wilson, do you waive a record in Mr. Thomas's case?
I do.
Mr. Thomas, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about February 19th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of deadly conduct. Mr. Thomas, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Thomas, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Thomas, I'm gonna show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, Mr. Thomas, there are a set of initials, JET, that are placed on a line next to a box that check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature? On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? We had a discovery certification. And Mr. Thomas, I have another document here. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Thomas, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Wilson, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Thomas, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer State 1.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Wilson, you've advised and counseled Mr. Thomas. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
There is no evidence.
Mr. Thomas, your attorney, Mr. Wilson, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his services? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Thomas, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State. Do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 190 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the court give defendant credit for the 190 days previously spent in jail, making this a time served plea agreement, Your Honor. We're also asking that the court use the time served to both tax and retire the court cost, Your Honor. And lastly, this case will be dismissing companion case number 332696.
Mr. Thomas, the state is offering that you serve 190 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail for this case because you've already served 190 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you have already served. The court cost in this case is $327, but you will not have to pay the court costs of $327 because the time that you've spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. And the state will be dismissing cause number 332696. Mr. Thomas, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Thomas, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. You're free to follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day. Now, do you have a copy of that dismissal? Yeah, it's in clause number 332696.
Yes, sir. I see it on my blue.
You already signed?
Yes, sir.
Do it slowly.
Let me get this shit.
No, yes.
Let me get the dismissal.
The dismissal, we're waiting on the dismissal.
Sure.
Court is in session in clause number 329122. Case of style of state of Texas versus Joshua Levi Joshua Levi Rowe. Mr. Rowe, would you please come forward? For the record, is your name Joshua Levi Rowe? How you doing, Mr. Rowe?
I'm very hard.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Rowe, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Rowe, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rowe, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Rowe, you're represented in this case by your attorney, Tom Burbank. Attorney Burbank, do you waive a record in Mr. Rowe's case? Mr. Rowe, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about April 19 of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place. Mr. Rowe, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Rowe, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? No contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Mr. Rowe, I also have before me a document. I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Rowe, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this same document, there are 2 sets of initials. First set of initials, TB, is the initials of your attorney. Next set of initials, JR. Did you place your initials JR on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature? And on the next document that is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Is that the discovery certification? And Mr. Rowe, I also have before me a document that is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Rowe, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? State, well, Mr. Rowe, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you'd like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor, state officer station.
Objection, State.
No objection, State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Burbank, you advised and counseled Mr. Rowe. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rowe, your attorney, Mr. Burbank, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Rowe, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 90 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the court suspend imposing that sentence at this time, placing the defendant on community supervision for a period of 1 year, Your Honor, requiring that defendant pay a $250 fine and complete 40 hours of community service.
Okay, hold on a minute, let me see. Mr. Kimler, would you please put your mic on mute? Thank you. Okay, I was just checking the date that they refiled it on. They filed it within the time period. The case was set on the offense occurred on or about April 19, 2019, and the case was refiled on April 13th of 2021, so it's within the 2-year statute of limitations. Okay, now, could you repeat the offer, State?
Good thing, Your Honor. The state is recommending 90 days confinement, suspended for 1 year, Your Honor, with a $250 fine and 40 hours of community service.
40 hours community service. Mr. Rowe, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you would not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you've already, because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. Now, during the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $250 plus court costs. The total fine and court costs is $702. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DW Education an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $140. Will you be able to pay the $140 each month?
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll also be required to perform 40 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DW education class and have a drug and alcohol assessment. Mr. Rowe, do you understand? But also you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Now, Mr. Rowe, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rowe, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement. And I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Mr. Rowe, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And I think Mr. Burbank, you can get with the court coordinator if you needed, your other case is reset.
Already done. Your Honor.
All right, you're efficient. So, Mr. Burbank, this will conclude your cases. You'll be free to go
Thank you.
and you have a blessed day.